questions that I wanted to ask you about the film, and I wanted to start off asking about how you became involved and what really interested you in your character and the story.
Well, a friend of mine who's in the film as well, Jess Mesa, she plays Bianca. She's an old friend of mine, and she was involved in this project. And they were looking for someone to play Miguel. I guess my name came up, and then they sent me the script. I read the script, and upon finishing the script, I was like, "This is pretty cool. I want to get involved in this." It was very immediate. It had an urgency to it. It was relatable to our political reality, and I said, "Hell yeah!"
Mhm.
Because I'm so sick of what's happening right now, and we need a change so bad. And so I wanted to be part of it. I enjoy political pieces. One of my favorite shows of all time is The West Wing. I used to love watching
Mhm.
the West Wing. Just so I wanted to be part of it, and I met up with the director Miriam, and we talked, and here we are.
Mhm. And speaking of Miriam, I was able to speak with her about the film yesterday as well. So I wanted to ask about your experience getting to collaborate with her and really building that relationship with her as production began on the film as well.
She's a lovely woman. I'm glad we met. We have a beautiful friendship now. I think we connect artistically in a lot of ways. So we talk all the time. We want to do other things together. And I like women in charge. Having a woman director was awesome. Our producer is also a woman. So I think more women should be in charge. I really enjoy the collaboration. Their hearts are more open. They're not so egotistical. They're more open to opinions and you know try different things. Sometimes men can be very stuck in their own ways, including myself. So I think more women should be in charge. There should be executives, there should be writers, there should be directors. They have a different perspective that we need.
And also, I wanted to ask about getting to work with your co-stars on the film as well, and what that experience was like of collaborating with them and really building the family dynamic between you and your co-stars as well.
It was great. I mean, it's always interesting to meet people on the first day and then 10 minutes later pretend that you know them all your life.
Mhm.
That's the trick of being an actor. You meet someone 5 minutes later, you're in love with them, or they're your sister
Mhm.
or brother or mom or father, and you have to create that magic. And it was easy to create with these wonderful actors that I met. Some of them I knew from afar, but I think Jess Mesa was the only one I was friends with prior to the film. But it was great. It was really good. It really felt wonderful. The dynamics, the family dynamics were there. The backstories felt really alive. I mean, I don't normally watch stuff I do. I never do. To me, it seems self-indulgent, so I never do. I hardly ever really. But this one being a political piece in Corona time and all that, they were doing a screening at the producer's house, and I said, sure, I'll go. And I ended up watching it, and I was like, wow, this feels like a family. This feels like a
Mhm.
any family, really. I know it's a Mexican American family, but it's any family, especially right now. I think it doesn't matter what race you are. We're all having different opinions on what's happening. Some people are deluded, and other people can see right through the BS.
Mhm. And speaking about how any family could really relate to the characters in the film and this being such a timely story politically right now, was that something that you really enjoyed expanding on and really working on throughout production and really showcasing how the family is really affected maybe by like the timely events that are happening and particularly in politics, and what was that experience like of really building that relatable feeling in the film as well?
Well, that was the reason I wanted to get involved because of the subject matter, the political reality, and also the family dynamics. I thought it was really cool to have these five different adults, everyone with a different lifestyle and different level of success, different career. I was a journalist. My sister was an interior designer. The other one was I think a model, an actress, I don't know. And then my brother was a construction worker, and then the other guy, some painter or something, so I thought it was pretty cool, the backstories. I think it should go further. I could see that as a show. They don't just have to talk about politics. They could talk about other things, marriages or whatever. Like, my character was married to a white woman, and they were not there because they were at their, I mean, it wasn't said, but that was implied. She was at her family, you know, and she took the kids over there and supposed to coming with me. So there's a story there. And then my sister Bianca being LGBT, that's also very interesting, and not being very comfortable with being, open about it. So I think there's a lot there that could be explored even further. It should have been a full feature, not just a short film. And we did it right before Corona. We did it right before. We did it in March. Oh, wait, yeah, beginning March or something like that. But it was right before they did the whole shut everything down. That was
Yeah.
the last thing. And then, so it was nice to have done that, because then after that, I had just been sitting on my couch for a long time. I mean, I had a couple of gigs, a couple of voiceover gigs. They brought the equipment here to my house because that's how they're doing it. They bring everything. I have to set it up, and then I have to do it remotely here. And so I've done a couple of those, and I did do a movie like a week ago or something, that a pretty nice project. So things are slowly getting back to normal.
And speaking of wanting to expand this, if Miriam did approach you and ask if you wanted to make a feature or just maybe do a TV show or do something more with the character, would you be interested in really collaborating again and really expanding the story as well?
I think so, for sure, for sure. I mean, I want to work with her. And if it's in this project, then we'll do this project. If it's something else, let's do something else. But I want to work with her. I really enjoy working with Miriam. Like I said, I like having women in charge. It's a different, I don't know, different attitude. It feels different. It's not so, I don't know. To me, it was just more open. I think women have, their hearts are more open. Their humanity is more open to certain issues than some men. We just think we're tough, and that's it. We don't open up as much. I mean, as actors, we do, but most men, they think vulnerability is it's a weakness. With women, they cry at, because they lost their gum. I'm sorry. Or they missed their show and they're crying. You're like, oh shit. Or their hair doesn't look right, and they're about to cry. You're like, oh my god, oh no. But maybe we need that. We need that perspective. It's nice.
And did Miriam maybe encourage you and the rest of the cast to improv at all, or did you mainly stick to the script? And what was that like, really, maybe building the characters on the set while you were filming and really showcasing the relationships as well with your co-stars? Was improv something that she encouraged during the set? On the
Well,
set?
like I said, I had a pleasure working with her and women in general, because from the beginning, I think the script, uh, in my eyes, needed a couple little things here and there from my character's perspective. And I spoke with her and I brought those things up, and she was completely open. So there was a couple things that we worked together on the script to just add a few things that were more, um, I guess, like a stronger point. So no, she was very open from the beginning, and we worked on the script right before we had a final script. Me and her, we discussed a few things, and we added a few things, and maybe took out a few things. I just wanted to be rooted. I wanted to be very, I guess, truthful in facts. So I did some research on the factual things that Miguel was speaking about. None of it is myth; it's completely true. There's more, details to it, but I wanted it to be exactly, based on facts, and so she allowed me to add a few things. But once you're on set, you have to stay to what's written because of the editing. If you start ad libbing and you don't say the same thing the next time, and then people reacting different to what you're saying, and you didn't say, so then when they're editing it, they can't, it doesn't match. So you have to stay pretty much within the parameters of what's there. So when the editors look at it, they can go back and forth and cut here to here. And so, but but we did meet up once before we filmed. We had breakfast and we talked, and and then we went to work.
Mm. And also speaking about your preparation, I also wanted to ask about maybe if there was any research that you did besides reading the script and just the overall preparation for your character before filming began as well.
I always research was being said, especially when it's based on facts. It's different. You have to do
Mm-hmm.
more research. When it comes out of your own imagination, then it's more open to your own interpretation. So no, it's always good to look at, create your own little backstory. Like I knew I had a wife, so I created my own wife, my children, came up with certain pictures of kids that looked like my children. And I gave my wife a profession, a level of education. And I imagined my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, and then how many years we've been married and how many years we dated prior to that, and our problems within our marriage and all that just fills the little holes that, even though it's not being said, the audience always feels it. They feel some sense of I don't know, authenticity and believability,
Mm-hmm.
because you fill in the holes. Because when you see somebody on screen, you're seeing them at that moment, but that person has had a full life, whatever their age is, 35, 40, whatever. So they've been on this earth for 40 years. And whatever you're looking at on the screen, you have to convey all that, your years in college or your relationships or whatever, your opinions, your religion, your all that stuff, all those little things, little nuggets that help us as artists fill in the holes and make it stronger. And that's why we fall in love with certain performances. We watch people and we're like, there's something else there, something very interesting. And it's those wonderful actors that I admire, like Gary Oldman, Sean Penn, Marlon Brando, of course, no longer with us, but tremendous actor. They just fill in the holes. They're magnificent.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And also, I wanted to ask about the film now being released online and what that experience has been like of being able to share the film virtually with fans and audiences, and why you feel that having that digital release is beneficial now, especially during the pandemic as well.
well, it's the only way. It's the only way to watch the film.
Mm-hmm.
you know, uh, it had to be released. I guess that's out of my hands. I mean, there is some festivals out there, but I really don't know how they're doing. This whole pandemic has really, I know it's hurt a lot of industries, it's hurt a lot of people, but people in our industry and the arts, I think they've been especially hurt badly, especially musicians that are not they can't play shows anymore. All the clubs and all the concerts we used to go to, now they're sitting at home. So and all the theaters are closed. I had like two different theater productions I was going to do because I love doing theater. And both of them got pushed and pushed and pushed and eventually were canceled. All the theaters are closed in New York. All the Broadway is closed. And I don't know if people sit back and think of the impact of all those people. I'm not just talking about the actor, but the wardrobe, the hair, the sound, the electrician, the people that at the ticket booth, so, the snack booth or whatever, the restaurants in the area that used to be really busy because of the theater people, or the movies, the movie theaters, all the restaurants around there used to be busy because of the people going to on a date to the movies and eat. All those restaurants are, their business is down, and all the theaters are closed. They're empty. AMC, Regal. Oh, I think some AMC's are open. I don't know, but the impact has been pretty severe, on many of us. I'm not just, I don't want to be just, talk about, artists in my profession, because I think many people in different fields have been affected as well. And that's why we need a change in leadership. We need someone different in the White House other than a clown that just lies and, you know, makes fun of everybody, insults everybody, has no decency and no, I mean, just a fool. He's just a fool. He's just an idiot. And anybody who believes him, I just question their whole being, because it's like, really, I mean, in the beginning, sure, you could be like, okay, let's try something new. Sure, sure, sure. Let's do it. Let's be open to it. No more politicians by the book. Let's try this guy, whatever. Even though I thought it was a fool, but let's try it. After 4 years, come on, we can see it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. It's nothing but enriching himself and his family and helping his friends. It's just ridiculous, ridiculous. And people calling this person a successful business person, he's in debt more than 400 million. I call that a broke ass bitch. Anybody who's, excuse my language, I don't know if I can speak like this, but I get very, when people look at this person like he's successful, he's not successful. He is not. He's filed for bankruptcy 6 or 7 times. What successful people has filed for bankruptcy that many times? I mean, that's ridiculous. Anybody who's in debt 400 million, it's not a successful business person. He's a con artist. If any of us have our credit cards all the way to the top, whatever, at the max, and we're not paying our bills, we're irresponsible. Why isn't this person irresponsible? He is. But people look at him like, I mean, we're paying for everything. The taxpayers are paying for all his little golf trips and whatever. He's just charging the American people for his lifestyle, his family's lifestyle, and it's ridiculous. It makes me sick to my stomach that they can take a break until the 9th of November, and meanwhile, people who are really suffering and they needed a stimulus package, for their rent, for their groceries, for their bills. They don't get it because Mitch McConnell and the GOP said, no, 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 sorry, because all they want is tax breaks for their wealthy, which is like, why? I don't understand why people think it's okay not to pay taxes. If you live in this country, you benefit from the economy of this country, then you should pay taxes. Everyone should pay taxes. It's just, come on. So I don't get it how the very wealthy get away from not paying it, but the middle class and the poor, they have to pay it. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Listen, I understand when your tax bracket gets really high. I mean, nobody likes to pay a lot of taxes. I don't either. At the end of the year, sometimes I go, wow, I'm paying that much. But then I go, I live in this country. I benefit from this economy. I should pay my share of taxes. I mean, I don't like it. Nobody should like it, but it's a way of life. And I don't agree with the rich and the very wealthy not paying their share. It's just ridiculous. It makes me mad. Sorry. I think I went off script.
But, I appreciate you taking the time. I think that was me, Leah, but thank you again for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you for your time and have a wonderful weekend. Nice to meet you.
You too. Thanks again.
Bye-bye.
Bye.